This your boy, Daniel London Evans, and you are live inside the den, and this is story time inside the den, and the next episode starts right now.
It's that soul shit. Hey, yo, Ash, you a fool for this one.
It's a video.
It's like this beat just singing.
Video. Punch up button.
Pain in my soul. Yeah. Pain in my soul, let it rain from my soul. Gotta find myself, that's the goal. Wrote myself a letter, that's from soul. All that shit, it came from my soul. Tryna find a way to let it go. But my diamond in the rough, but still a rough diamond. Pressure made me, I'm blowing up like I'm detonating. Found my passion, you can't separate me, yeah, I'm levitating. I know you thought you knew me, but I promise you ain't know me. And even if you knew me, I ain't nothing like the old me.
All right, so tonight's episode is going to be a story about resilience, and it is none other than the first time I was handcuffed. Now, a lot of you all have heard the story of me going to prison and my time and what I did when I was in prison, things like that. But understand, at this point in my life, going through prison, I had never been handcuffed before in my life. So I went through the federal system 2 years, 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 days, and never been handcuffed before, right? So I go from not ever been handcuffed ever in life to the last week I was in Oklahoma. This is what happened. So we were just finishing up tax season. And at this time I was working under my brother, Tim Evans, in his house of Tax Smart, business of taxes. And he left me in Oklahoma to finish up the year. I think he might have left in like January that year, 2016. We're going back. Everything has an origin, right? Going back to 2016 when I first got here. Before I got here, this is the week before I got here. So we're going back in time, baby. Back in time. So the week before I got to North Carolina, 2016, the last week of tax season, that tax year, my brother left and went to Mississippi, went back home. I came to Oklahoma for him initially, and then he ended up leaving, going back to Mississippi. And as I was here, I was running his office here, and got ready to shut down his office for the season. You know, we done good. You know, it's like you take your bone to the middle of the yard. You do good. You go home, and you just kind of like do your thing. And so I had an urge to come to North Carolina, but before I left, had to make sure the office was completely shut down. So, last week of me being in Oklahoma, we had a storefront office, which is not bad, but the only problem with the storefront office is if anybody does any vandalism, you're going to know about it, right? So I came in one day, and the glass had been shattered on the storefront business. The glass had been shattered. Not just my business, but all the businesses down there. I don't know if there's somebody just playing games or whatever, or if somebody actually has a vendetta for us, right? So I come in, I notice that 2 of my computers and 3 of my TVs are missing from my office. So I, do what the, responsible thing is. Call law enforcement, call the popo, call the police, and report a claim of something being stolen. All right. So they come out to the location, and this right here is why black men don't call the police. Right here, what I'm about to tell you right now. Okay, so I get down to the place. I call the police in. They come into my office. They look around. They do their little walkthrough. And then they say, okay, I need your license so I can call this in, right? So they take my license, and Little do I know that they ran my license. Now I'm trying to get help now. Somebody done stole something from me. And I'm calling for help from the popos. And when they show up, they run my license for the report. And it comes out that I got a bench warrant for a failure to appear in court for a traffic ticket that I had incurred while I was in Oklahoma. So, the police tells me to put my hands behind my back. I'm like, for what? At this point, I don't understand what's going on. Put your hand behind your back. And they handcuffed me and said I had a bench warrant for my arrest for failure to appear. Now, in my mind, as a black man, look, I called you for help. And then when you show up, I become a darn victim? Come on now. This is the reason why black men don't call the police. This is the reason why we take matters into our own hands, because calling the police, look, they're going to think I did it. Understand that. They're going to think I did it. So we don't call the police because we want to be accused of being the one that done it while we calling for help, right? So I'm in the backseat of this police car. I'm thinking to myself, look, I done went through federal prison. Never been handcuffed. Self-surrendered. Got released OR to the federal system. And here it is, I'm calling for help. And I get arrested and I'm in a backseat with handcuffs on. I used to be a deputy sheriff. I'd have been in prison for whatever. But I'm in a car of a police car with handcuffs on. And I've never been handcuffed before in my life. So I'm sitting back in the back of the car. And I'm thinking about, all the humiliation. But the thing about it, wasn't no show. The show would have been when I went to federal prison. That didn't happen. No show happened there. So when I'm in a small scale of a basic, where's the show? No show. Nobody cares, right? I'm in handcuffs. And I go to the little county jail or whatever. I remember I worked for the sheriff department. Going through the process of getting the booking inmate in, getting their property, logging it all down, putting it into a bag, getting them into the system, and then get them to their room and all that kind of stuff. And now I'm on the other side of that, in a holding cell, taking my property, logging it down and all that kind of stuff, signing it for it. And I could have been bitter about that situation, be like, you know what, this is, and there are times where if I could have been arrested before and didn't have any money, I would have been like, one of those average Joe Blow on the streets, no money, to burn out, have to go to prison. But God had blessed me at this point where I was actually able to have some money. I wasn't worried about burning out. Wasn't worried about burning out. But I was more worried about the process of burning out. I got to go through all this just so I can go home on my own reconnaissance. So I had a friend I called, came immediately. I never saw inside of a cell. I never saw the block, because I wandered out when I was in booking. And so I said all that to say this. Sometimes you gotta be locked up to be set free. Sometimes people feel like they was arrested, but they was rescued. Come on, somebody. Sometimes you have to be in bondage in order to be free in your mind. And so as I sit here and reminisce on that story that happened that day, nobody let me know that, as I told them. That means that that little time, that little small portion of time had no effect on my life. Nobody was there to verify it or witness it. Nobody documented anything. Nobody was there to say whether it was right or wrong. So at that point, it doesn't exist. So that moment don't define who I am. There was a simple moment in time that happened, and it's over with. So I'm going to leave y'all with this. Life is too short. Life is too short. One day you're here, next day you're gone. What you think you're doing so much work to try to make sure you are relevant in this world, the next day nobody gonna remember who you are. Think about that for a second. The people you're trying to please right now don't even care about your well-being. And if you wasn't here tomorrow, they would still live life without you. So who are you living for? Who are you struggling for? Who are you feeling pain for? Is the people you're trying to take care of and the people you're trying to, if they can't feel your pain, then what are we doing? What are we doing? Life is too short to be playing games with people. If you got something for the world, give it to them. Don't hold that inside you. And don't worry about people using you, because they're using you for a reason. Because you have value to give to the world. Nobody using the homeless guy. He's not being used. Why? Because he has no value. If you're being used right now, then honor that. It's okay to be used. Just don't let people misuse you. You understand what I'm saying? You can be used, just don't be misused. Okay? And don't let people put you in a box. Don't let them put you in a box. Think outside the box. Your success is outside the box. Think outside the box. So I was handcuffed in the back of a police car for the first time, and nobody was there to witness it. Nobody. Went to jail and bummed it out before I can go to general population. I'll never forget that experience. Never. Because it changed me who I am on the inside. It gave me new vision of who I was on the inside. I can't be judgmental because I done been there too. I can't be judgmental because I done been arrested to be rescued. I can't judge somebody because I done been locked up to be set free. My ministry started when I was in prison. That's what God woke me up and told me who I was as a man. That's what God showed me what my purpose was in this world. In that prison. But notice that story happened the last week I was in Oklahoma. Check this out now. Oklahoma was simply a stepping stone for me to get to the next level, right? But when you get ready to leave a bad situation, come on somebody. You get ready to leave a bad situation behind, and all of a sudden now, this situation has a hold on you. You try to leave that man, the same week you try to leave him, he has a hold on you. He gonna buy you some nice flowers and candy. Come on now. You try to leave that woman behind in a week, you try to leave her, she do all the things that you've been asking for that whole, she doing that now. That week you try to leave her. It's like the devil was mad I was leaving the town. He was trying to jam me up so I couldn't leave. I was going through some things and then boom, getting arrested, boom, I'm stuck. I can't go nowhere. But the closer I got to leaving, stuff started happening. Other stuff happened as well. But this was icing on the cake. And I realized that I got to get the heck up out of here. And I heard the voice of God tell me the same thing he told Lot's wife. Do not look back or you would turn to a pillar of salt. You would only hear by grace, by favor. You weren't never supposed to get comfortable here. You was only here for a period of time. Get out of here now and vow never to come back. Get out of here. I'm going to save you, but get out of here and don't look back. I heard the voice of God say that to me. And the day I left that city, it rained and it rained and it rained. It continued to rain and rain and rain when I left that city. And I felt just like Lot's wife. I knew exactly what God felt when he told her that. This city's going to be destroyed, and if you look back to the past, son, you're going to stay salty and you're going to stay bitter. You're going to turn to a pillar of salt for doing that if you look back. And the day I left Oklahoma, boy, it rained. That storm came in and it rained and it rained. And I can only help to think that maybe this is because I'm leaving. That God took his time to stop what he was doing in heaven and say, boom, this is what I want him to do. And this is how I want to show it. And he made it happen for me that day. And still to this day, that was the only time I've ever been handcuffed before. So, this story obviously brings back some memories for me. But it's okay. I am complete secure in my manhood and who I am as a man. So it doesn't bother me. So do I have any men out there who experienced going to jail for the first time and had a story to tell? Inbox me, hit me up, let me know. And as always, merchandise, Storytime gear available right now. Inbox me if you with your sizes and everything. We can get you set up with your own personalized version of Storytime gear. All right. Thank y'all for joining me for this episode of Storytime Inside the Den. And as always, this your boy Daniel Lodgen Evans, and you heard it from the den. Peace.
Diamond in the rough, but still a rough diamond. Pressure made me, I'm blowing up like I'm detonating. Found my passion, you can't separate me, yeah, I'm levitating. I know you thought you knew me, but I promise you ain't know me. And even if you knew me, I ain't nothing like the old.